Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. If you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas, you can still get it for yourself. I know that Tyler Ivins, Will's co-host, has been he's been pitching for a shuffleboard game forever. He should just go to Games and Things himself and pick it up right there. OurGameRoom.com is where you can learn more about this fantastic business, locally owned, family owned by Scott and Lisa Mellon. They do great work. And let me tell you, if you go by that showroom, corner of Kingston Pike and Level Road, plan to be there for an hour or two because you're not going to want to leave. It is a fun place. Games and Things. Okay, here's the results of our poll. We can put these up, and it rather shocks me. The majority of you feel that Tennessee is at least Elite Eight bound this year. What would that have been if they hadn't come back and beaten Georgia yesterday? That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Only 15% say they won't make it past the second round, which is actually the Rick Barnes the typical year. So we'll reach the Sweet. 85% of you think this team's Sweet 16 or further. Very good. I appreciate you playing along. And tell you, this helps us shape our conversations in the coming week. Let me give you one more graphic. I don't know if my director's ready here. I'm going to put this up there very quickly if we can get to the next full screen. It's about replacing a champ at Alabama. There we go. You see Paul Bear-Bryant, he won 6 national titles. They brought in Ray Perkins to replace him. He lasted 4 seasons. Gene Stallings wins a national championship. Mike DuPost replaces him. He's gone in 4 seasons and scandal. Nick Saban, 6 national titles, 875 winning percentage in this era. God, what a coach. And then Kalen DeBoer's coming in. So best of luck to him. Here's the question, boys. We've got just a quick time, though. What's the impact on Tennessee? How quickly is there an impact? Does Alabama come back to the pack? And I say they will because of you're not going to be able to have the pro conveyor belt that you've had in the past. I think eventually that hurts recruiting. That's my take. I think Alabama falls because of that, but I don't know that that's going to impact Tennessee immediately.
I think they come back a little bit, but still, that's better. Look, Kalen DeBoer's great. He ain't Saban. Nobody's Saban. Saban's probably the GOAT when it comes to college football. So even if he's a great coach, he's not the greatest coach of all time. So for me, that opens up an opportunity for Tennessee to gain some ground.
And I'll say this. I think it's kind of sad Saban's leaving, but I'll say this for him, DeBoer coming into the job now. Perfect timing with 4 playoff teams, right? So you don't necessarily have to win.
To get 12, you can get 4 from the SEC.
You can get 4 from the SEC. Yeah. So I think that is one thing that would be in his corner. Even if you don't win the SEC, can you get in the national playoffs?
Good point, Chuck. Nobody's going to argue with that. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, no,
what's it mean for Tennessee?
Exactly like Chuck. It opens. Now you're going to have Georgia as the front runner for the entire SEC, but now it opens up that second, third, and fourth spot and make it one more competitive. Because if Saban was there, you just go ahead and cancel off Georgia and Alabama as the top spots, which Tennessee is the only team that's going to play both of those every year, or at least that's what the schedule looks like.
I think Texas and Oklahoma have to feel good coming in with no Saban.
Yes. And Texas was just in the college football playoff, so it makes it harder for Alabama to stay up there. I think this is a huge deal for Tennessee and everybody. I think the recruiting side is the biggest reason. I think NIL, Alabama was not just perceived to be winning battles with NIL all the time. They were winning with the Saban brand, putting guys in the NFL. You immediately lose that. So I'll be fascinated in seeing how much residual effect is there from that. Does the Alabama brand immediately fall off, or does it still have some carryover with some of these guys who have always seen Alabama as the gold standard? So I think recruiting, this is a real challenge for them. If they don't get NIL turned up a notch quickly, they're going to hurt from this pretty immediately.
One thing, I had a lot of friends that texted me as soon as this news came out, and they're like, "Guess you're going to have to change your prediction for Tennessee's record next year." And I thought, no, that's unless that whole roster just flees in the portal, and maybe they do, then I'll adjust. But right now, I don't see Tennessee suddenly. I don't see Tennessee as ahead of Alabama right now because Saban's leaving. Maybe in 5 years, if Heupel continues in the right direction, if what happens at Alabama every time they replace a legend happens again, then I think you're good. But I don't think it's going to be anything quick. I think it's going to be, obviously he's not going to be Saban, but I don't think that program's going to fall off a cliff tomorrow.
No, I don't either.
He's also a really, really, really good coach.
You love him. We got it.
But the key is going to be recruiting, right? Can he get players?
Yeah.
And so for some of those mid-state guys that have been going to Alabama that Tennessee's lost over the last few years, all of a sudden you're back in on them if you're Tennessee, and I think you have a better opportunity because Kalen DeBoer hasn't put guys in the NFL.
There you go. All right. Good points, one and all. When we come back, we're going to do the Tennessee-Florida prediction, and then also talking about coaches in the NFL. Coaches putting players in the NFL. How about Tennessee putting a player in the NFL who became a coach in the NFL for the first time ever? We'll talk about that next. Come on back on the Sports Source.